Hi, my name is Natalie Duffany, and I'm here to teach you that there's a rule for that. My topic is commas in regard to dates and geographic units. First, let's talk about dates. Commas are typically used to separate the numbers within a date. So let's take the standard American style of date, for example, month, day, year. So here we have December 25th, 2018. There are no commas separating this, and the 25 and the 2018 can easily bleed together and cause confusion. So we separate them with a comma. One that probably and hopefully looks better than this one. However, if you only have two items in the date, like so, May 2007, you don't use any commas to separate May from 2007. Let's say we have a date in which the sentence continues after the rest of the date. In this case, we need to remember our comma between the day and the year, and we would need to add a comma after 2007, separating the date from the rest of the sentence. According to Grammar Girl, many style guides argue whether you do need the comma separating the date from the rest of the sentence after the year, but many of them and most of them do conclude that you will need the comma after 2007 in an instance like this. An important thing to remember is that MLA requires the use of this comma. It's also important to remember that if you've written the date in day, month, year style like this, you don't need any commas separating the items in the list. April is already separating the two numbers. Now let's talk about commas with geographic units. First are addresses. The most important thing to remember when writing a written address is that you never separate the state from the zip code. Here's an example address: 1910 Sunrise Road, comma, Navarre, comma, Florida 32566. And there is no comma between Florida and 32566. However, there are commas surrounding the city. So no commas separating the house number from the street name, but there is a comma separating the street name from the city and the city from the state. However, if you continue the sentence and say 1910 Sunrise Road, Navarre, Florida 32566 is where Max lives, you're going to want to separate the address from the rest of the sentence with a comma, regardless of whether this is the zip code or what other element might be the last number in his address. A similar rule applies to city and state geographic locations. For example, if Max wanted to move to California, he might say something like this: I want to move to San Diego, California because it has great beaches. And in this case, Max would make sure to put a comma between San Diego and California and a comma after California to separate San Diego, California from the rest of the sentence. Since you always separate city from state, like Mobile and Alabama, with a comma, sometimes this can cause some confusions in lists. So if you're trying to say my favorite cities are Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, and Atlanta, Georgia, and you only separate all the items in a list with a comma, it can be confusing. In other words, this looks like you're just listing a bunch of 6 different places: Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, Atlanta, and Georgia. To solve this error, we simply turn these commas into semicolons. Leave the commas in between the city and the state and separate each item in a list with a semicolon. Now you hopefully know a little bit more about commas, especially in regard to dates and geographic units, and thanks for watching!